from the Magnolia State for your second round of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Noem, I want to let you know what a refreshing hearing this has been. To have someone who comes before this committee who's plain spoken, who has a desire to secure the border, a desire to enforce the law, to have someone in your position who's willing to get out from behind a desk, to leave Washington, to go there and be there on the front lines with the men and women who serve. I just want to thank you for not being the typical bureaucrat who routinely would come before this committee time and time again under the Biden-Harris administration, who really had no idea because they had not been down there serving and alongside the men and women who were serving. So thank you for your leadership, and thank you for being plain spoken, and thank you for what you stand for. As we continue to secure the border, and as we see those numbers continue to hold, I believe at some point the DHS will be able to reallocate resources to the interior. That once those allocations or those resources have been reallocated, that we'll see those numbers of interior enforcement, we'll see those numbers increase. And one of the things that we have to do as we are contemplating this appropriations package for next year is we have to figure out the number of detention beds. And I know that the detention beds have been something of a contention with the previous administration. They always came in with an extremely low number of detention beds, knowing that Republicans then would always plus up that number to make sure that we had the number necessary. And so I guess my question, as we're looking at putting next year's budget together, and as we're looking at funding detention beds, what is the number of detention beds that you feel, Madam Secretary, that you are going to need going forward?
The president has been clear from the beginning with his advisors in the White House on Homeland Security that we need much more capacity in detention beds in the country. We have upwards to 50,000 people that are in detention centers today that are moving out of the country, moving to go home to their countries, that we're negotiating and working on travel documents and repatriation with. But we have the ability to go out and act quicker in this country, but need the space in which to hold them until those processes can take place. So we need upwards to an additional 50,000 beds, 60,000 beds in order to make sure that we have the ability to not slow down enforcement operations and bring bad actors and criminals and those with final removal orders into our authority so that we can move them out faster. So, you know, the
Madam
whole...
Secretary, if I'm not trying to cut you off, but a lack of detention beds could be a real deterrent to your men and women being able to perform the mission that they need to do.
Absolutely.
And so if Congress wants to get serious about protecting the American people, then we're going to have to fund not only the manpower that you need, but we're going to have to fund the detention beds so those individuals can be detained, they can be brought before a judge, and then they can be ordered to be removed. Is that correct?
That is correct. And I would also just clarify and make a point that the request from reconciliation, $175 billion, is for this term of this president for the 4 years. And you see in the numbers that were released by OMB this last week that the $43 billion that would be the increase into this budget is from the reconciliation, 1/4% of what that total would be.
And want to switch gears in my last minute and a half and talk about DHS Centers for Excellence. I know that those are where DHS partners with academic institutions really across the nation. Some of those institutions include Texas A&M, my alma mater, Mississippi State University, the University of Nebraska, Arizona State. And I know as DHS is seeking to kind of realign mission areas, I've seen that there's consideration of either reducing funding or in some cases cutting the Centers for Excellence. I want you to know that while I'm very want to make sure that I'm a great steward of taxpayer money, particularly at the center at Mississippi State. I've been there firsthand. I've seen the great work that they've done on unmanned aerial systems. I believe that they are an incredible return on our investment. But I would like to just ask you very quickly, as if you could share a little bit about how the department plans to invest in these critical research functions that I think are important to the mission of DHS.
Yes, and that's the evaluation that's happening. And 2 of those have already been reevaluated in Nebraska and Alaska, and we will continue to do that with the rest of the allocations that go to centers of excellence throughout the country. But we have to look at how these dollars are being spent to align with the mission that is the Department of Homeland Security. Cybersecurity, terrorism defense, building out and hardening our systems to protect our national security. So that's what's undergoing now in your state, and we will continue to evaluate that and stay in communication with you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, and I yield back.